and there's always some sort of, it looks a lot like a plot hole.
Right.
So long story short, check yourself before you wreck yourself. I think it's the lesson here.
More or less. Reflect a little bit.
Yeah, don't jump in so fast. Don't judge, and especially don't be one of those assholes that tells other people not to judge and then you judge yourself. Jesus Christ. Do we have to explain why that's hypocritical?
But you see, they're not judging. They're just telling you what God wants for society.
Or their interest group.
Well, yeah.
If they're atheists or whatever. But
whatever they happen to be.
So yeah, so select yourself. Self-select away from my life. And, cool people out there, select your way in this direction.
Yes. We do not require any assholes to shit on everything that we're doing.
Yeah, that's another thing. One of the subset of the fun ruiner category is the joke stomper. This is another thing I wanted to talk about, and it's been on my mind for years, is somebody that just doesn't get it, and if you have some sort of psychological issue, I guess I can give you something of a pass, although it still pisses me off.
Okay.
Don't stomp on people's jokes, people.
I think this is another one where I need a little bit of an example.
Well, I mean, at various meetings I go to, I see it with myself and with others. People that don't pay attention, they're just interested in hearing the sound of their own voice, and they just take any opportunity to insert themselves whenever possible and jump in and interrupt. And somebody could be halfway through, laying the groundwork for something that's going to be hilarious in 2 more words. Mm-hmm. But these douchebags can't wait 2 more words. They don't predict that something is coming when it's fairly obvious the guy's telling a joke, and they just stomp all over it. Or if the guy manages to get the entire thing out, they overanalyze the joke, and that's a great way to stomp on a joke. If you wanna ruin somebody's day who just told a joke because you're that kind of douchebag,
yeah,
just analyze their joke too much, and you'll start tearing apart the fabric they've woven of absurdity, and that's the thing. It's supposed to be absurd and unrealistic, and if you start asking questions about their joke, you're going to force them to explain it, and it's going to ruin it and lose all of its flavor. So that's just one of the many subcategories of fun ruiners, and I'm sure over time we'll cover them all.
Oh yeah. Just because we don't think of every type and permutation doesn't mean we won't get around to it. There's no short supply of douchebags in the world, not by a long shot.
And in the old days, I would just sort of let it go and just roll my eyes and sigh and be like, this guy doesn't get it. But I think really the way to handle this lately is you've got to nip that shit in the bud, and these people will just go on ruining fun forever. So my new philosophy is a little tough love, or in psychological terms, conditioning. All I'm doing is doing a little conditioning for these people so that they learn that they're being literal douche fun ruiners. And I think that at least a large chunk of the time that conditioning is successful. So you people at home can try this yourselves. All you need is a paper towel tube, some Scotch tape,
and half an orange. Oh, I'm making a bird feeder. Shit.
And some hot glue. Melt the hot glue and throw it in their face.
Just squirt it on their shoes. Ruin that fun for them. Fuckers.
So I think that really I really, looking at my one sentence of notes I wrote earlier, I really covered what I wanted to cover. I feel good. I feel great. I feel wonderful.
You squeezed the value out of that one.
But it's something I really wanted to get off my chest, just in general for a while and early in this series of shows. And,
Right.
I mean, actually, I don't believe in catharsis, like, really, but it feels cathartic. So.
You don't believe in catharsis?
Well, like, I've heard that it's more of a bullshitty thing that people used to think was a real psychological principle, but,
yeah.
like, I've been hearing lately that, like, catharsis isn't really cathartic, I guess. Like, catharsis isn't really a...
Oh, like there's not an actual, like, neurological model of emotions being built up and released.
Well, on more of a simple level, because I'm kind of, like, a big dummy sometimes.
Okay.
Like, that there is no... And, like, I'm going to butcher what I read, because I read it a long time ago and sort of heard it like, in podcasts and shit. Basically, like I said, that catharsis isn't a real phenomenon that should be, like, achieved, like that should be sought after.
Okay.
Like, I guess it can happen, and, like, whatever I'm feeling, I would describe it as cathartic now.
Yeah.
But, all I was just sort of, saying quickly is, there's not really, from what I understand, catharsis. So take it for what it's worth, and maybe, like, we can look it up or something. Yeah, we're not going to do that, but we could. You can if you want.
No, all I take it to mean is release. And actually, since you said look it up, I have a dictionary.
Yeah. Well, that'll give us the definition and the usage, but, like, as far as whether psychologists say that it's a thing now.
Oh, fair enough.
Like, from basically what I'm saying is psychologists are saying it's not a thing like we used to think it was a thing. Like, it's still a thing, but it's not a psychology thing.
Right.
The way it used to be a psychology thing. That's science, everybody. That's how you say science.
That's true. I mean, all this says is it's the process of releasing pent-up emotions, for example, through drama.
Yeah, so...
And you definitely get that sensation from things.
Well, it's sort of like the idea that hitting a punching bag would release all your tension and anger and stuff, and, like, lately the research is showing that the opposite actually happens.
Oh, it scales it up, basically?
Yeah, you're actually just making yourself more aggressive. So, I mean, if that's what you're going for, great, But it turns out that, and the catharsis is, like, a lot like that principle. That's what I'm trying to say.
So you might not... But you might feel cathartic after you take a big shit.
Maybe. I'll let you know.
I mean, it is from the Greek verb kathyrine, to cleanse. So that's the technical information for the day.
So we should start marketing fake cleansing things, and we could call it that.
I dig it.
It sounds sciencey and markety and pharmacology.
It sounds medicine-y.
Medicine-y.
Tasty.
Cleansing.
Cleansing. It'll amplify your body's something.
That could be
processes.
That could be the marketing tagline. That amplifies amplifies your colon.
Just that. Yeah, there you go. It amplifies. And then whatever we want to amplify, because we can have a colon formula, we could have a liver formula.
It amplifies your poop.
There you go. Poop shit amplification. And I just wrote that down totally wrong. Anyway.
So, getting all this stuff off my chest anyway, of course, like, what do I care? I'll say it's cathartic because I'm not a literal douche, and neither are you.
I try. I do my best.
Like, that's yet another thing that sort of relates to all this is, I'm going to use a lot of common language and fast. So, if I'm not technically accurate all the time, like, you can also fuck right off. That's another way that you can fuck right off. Like, if you know what I mean, and you are going to be a dick about it anyway, like, just fuck right off.